Hi guys, your friend Gopika is here, and in this video we will discuss two important theorems of the chapter. First one is the inscribed angle theorem and the next is the cyclic quadrilateral theorem. Okay, so without wasting time, let's get started. So before starting with the theorem, we should know what is meant by an inscribed angle. So first we will discuss that. Okay. So in the figure 3.42, C is the center of a circle. Now here we have a circle with center C. The vertex D of angle PDQ lies on the circle. Okay, now this D is lying on the circle, and hence this angle PDQ we have, and D is lying on the circle. Now the arms of angle PDQ intersect the circle at points A and points B. Such an angle is called an angle inscribed in the circle or in the arc. Now in figure 3.42, angle ADB is inscribed in the arc ADB. This particular arc, within it the angle is inscribed. Okay. Now whenever we have such an angle, that is the measure of an inscribed angle, its measure will be half the measure of the arc intercepted by it. Okay. Now this particular angle is inscribed in BAC, and opposite to the angle there is an arc, that is a rest arc other than BAC. Rest part or BEC or BDC is called arc intercepted by the angle BAC. Whenever you have an inscribed angle, just opposite to it we will have an arc. That arc will be intercepted arc, and measure of this particular angle BAC is half the measure of this arc. Okay, now by definition this arc is same as its measure of the corresponding central angle, correct, to BOC. So angle BOC is equal to arc BDC, measure of arc BDC, and angle BAC is equal to half of arc BDC. Okay, now half of arc BDC, that part is covered under the statement of inscribed angle theorem. Okay, so the statement is, so the given part from the statement is, in a circle with center O, we have angle BAC is inscribed in arc BAC. Arc BDC is intercepted by the angle. To prove that angle BAC is half the measure of arc BDC, for that we will do a construction. That is, we join AO, ray AO, and extend it till it touches a circle at E. And then we draw radius OC. So if here you see OA and OC, both are radii. So for this particular triangle which is formed AOC, this OA and OC are congruent sides. So this triangle is an isosceles triangle, and by isosceles triangle theorem the angles OCA is equal to angle OAC. Okay, so this part we will be using. Now if OAC and OCA are both are of equal measure, that is both are of suppose x degrees of measure, then this particular angle COE is the exterior angle of the triangle, and we know that by exterior angle property, any exterior angle of a triangle is equal to, measure of exterior angle is equal to sum of remote interior angles. So for this particular exterior angle, the remote interior angles are angle A and angle C. So if you add this, you get the measure of exterior angle. So x plus x will be 2x. Okay, so this angle is of measure 2x. Now if this angle is of measure 2x, then this particular arc EC, if you see EC and its central angle is EOC, so EOC is 2x means EC is also 2x by definition of measure of an arc. Okay, okay, so this is what they have written in the proof. So let's read it once again. In triangle AOC, first let me choose the point. Okay, in triangle AOC, side OA and side OC are both are radius. OA and OC are radii of the same circle. Hence this particular triangle is isosceles triangle, and hence these base angles are also congruent to each other. Let's it measure be x. Both their measures is suppose x degrees. Then we know that the exterior angle EOC will be sum of remote interior angles by exterior angle theorem of a triangle. So if you add these two, you will get 2x. So this particular angle is 2x by exterior angle theorem. Okay. Now if EOC is 2x, EOC is central angle of arc EC. That means EC is also 2x by definition of measure of an arc. So we got that this particular angle EAC, which is inscribed, and the arc intercepted by it is EC. So if this angle is x, we got that EC is 2x. So for this half part, the theorem is verified. Now same thing. So first we write that angle AOC or OAC or EAC, both are half measure arc EC. Now we were talking about BAC. So to other side also we need to prove the same thing. Following the same steps, if you join OB, then you will, here also you will get an isosceles triangle, and if you follow the same steps you will get that BOD is 2x and BAE, this angle BAE is x. So again for that part also we will get that this particular arc BDE is half of, no, this angle is half of arc BE. That is what we will get if we do the proof, if you follow the similar steps. Now after getting that, if you add both the equations, both the sides if you add, that is EAC plus EAB, and other side EC plus BE with half multiplied to both, then half will come outside common, and then these two gets added. When these angles were added, that is in the left side we will get angle BAC, and in the right side when you add measure of arc EC and measure of arc BE, we will get this full arc which is measure of arc BEC, or we can call it as BDC also. Both ways we are talking about the same arc. Okay, now mark this point as 0.5. Now when we wrote this proof till here, we have covered two possibilities. One is we have an inscribed angle such a way that center is lying inside it, towards the interior of the arms of the angle. That we covered, and we covered that arms, the center is lying on one of the arms of the angle. That is covered when we talked about EAC, since center is passing through one of the arms of the angle. So that part also we covered. Now we need to the case where suppose center is lying outside the arms of the angle, that is the inscribed angle. So let's see that. Okay, this was the case I was talking about. Suppose we have say inscribed angle such as BAC. Now here the center is outside the arms of the angle. Okay, now for that case what we will do, angle BAC is equal to, that is this particular angle BAC is equal to angle BAE minus angle CAE. That is true. This, from this full angle, if you subtract the upper half of the angle, then you will get the lower half, which is BAC. Okay, so BAC is angle BAE minus angle CAE. Now to BAE we can apply inscribed angle theorem, since one arm is passing through the center, and that case we covered in the beginning of the proof. And for CAE also we can use the inscribed angle theorem, because for such an angle we already proved that the inscribed angle theorem is true. So for both cases I am using the inscribed angle theorem. Half measure of arc BCE minus half measure arc CE. This is from third point which we proved in the beginning of the proof. So both the places we applied inscribed angle theorem. Now half comes out BCE minus measure of arc CE. So this full arc BCE, from that if you subtract the measure of arc CE, what will remain is measure of arc BC. So now we have that angle BAC is half measure arc BC. So the third case is also covered, wherein the center is lying outside towards exterior of the arms of the circle. Okay, so that case also we got that inscribed angle theorem is true. So we just proved that the measure of an angle subtended by an arc at a point on the circle is half of the measure of the angle subtended by the arc at the center. Okay, so whenever you have an angle subtended on the circle and on the center its measure is same as the measure of the intercepted arc, and on the circle means inscribed angle, and inscribed angle is half of central angle. Indirectly we proved that. Okay, when we say that inscribed angle is half of intercepted arc, we are also telling that inscribed angle is half the measure of central angle, okay, to its corresponding central angle, since measure of central angle and measure of arc is same by definition. These are two important corollaries of the theorem, wherein angle inscribed in the same arc are congruent. So when you have same arc PR, we can say that angle PQR and angle PSR both are congruent. This is a very simple proof. Since both the places you apply inscribed angle theorem, angle PQR is half of arc PR, angle PSR is also half of arc PR. Both places I applied inscribed angle theorem. Now both are half of arc PR, then both the angles have to be congruent. Next, angle inscribed in a semicircle is a right angle. So when an angle is inscribed in a semicircle, the intercepted arc is also a semicircle. So angle ABC is half of measure of arc AXC, and measure of arc AXC, which is the half circle or the semicircle, is 180 degrees, and half of 180 degrees is 90 degree, and hence this angle ABC is a right angle. So both are very simple corollaries with 2 or 3 line proof directly applying the inscribed angle theorem. Next important theorem is the cyclic quadrilateral theorem, which says opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. Now what is a cyclic quadrilateral? When we have a quadrilateral with its vertices, okay, with all 4 vertices lying on the circle, then we call it as a cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, so we have a cyclic quadrilateral over here. The proof framework is already given, we just need to fill in few things. Here we will be applying the inscribed angle theorem. So here particularly quadrilateral ABCD is cyclic, angle B plus angle D is 180 degrees, and angle A plus angle C is 180 degrees. So the theorem says that whenever you have a cyclic quadrilateral, the opposite angles, here angle D and B are opposite to each other and A and C are opposite to each other. If you add them, you will get the sum to be 180 degrees. That means they are supplementary. Okay, that is what we need to prove. Now for the proof, arc ABC is intercepted by the inscribed angle, angle ADC. So this particular arc ABC is intercepted by the inscribed angle ADC. Okay, so this arc or this particular angle ADC is half the measure of arc ABC by inscribed angle theorem. That is the first point. Next, similarly angle ABC is an inscribed angle and it intercepts arc ADC. So again when we apply inscribed angle theorem, we will get measure of angle ABC is half the measure of arc ADC. Now if you add measure of arc ADC plus measure of arc ABC, we would get the right side half measure arc ABC plus half measure arc ADC. Both are added, then that is full circle, which is half of 360 degrees. So half of 360 degrees is 180 degrees. That means angle D plus angle B is equal to 180 degrees we got. Now if we same steps, we can prove that angle A plus angle C is also 180 degrees. So the opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. Okay, it was a very simple proof. So let's see the next topic. Corollary, very important corollary of a cyclic quadrilateral theorem. An exterior angle of a cyclic quadrilateral is congruent to the angle opposite to its adjacent interior angle. So whenever you have an exterior angle DAE, it is congruent to the angle opposite to its adjacent interior angle. The adjacent interior angle is DAB and the angle opposite to it is angle DCB. So here we need to prove that angle DAE is congruent to angle DCB. So the given part to prove part you will have to write. I have just written the proof of the corollary, which is very simple also. Rest formalities you have to fill. That is, first you write the given part, you draw the diagram, you write the construction, and then you write to prove, and then you start with the proof. Okay. So after you start with the proof, these 4 points are the main things. Angle DAB plus angle DAE is 180 degrees since angles are in linear pair. So if you see this angle DAE and DAB, both are linear pair since this is collinear points EAB. So their sum is 180 degrees. Okay. Now angle DAB plus angle DCB, opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. So by theorem of cyclic quadrilateral, these two also supplementary. So their addition will also give 180 degrees. If both are giving 180 degrees, then the left side of the equations match each other. So angle DAB plus angle DAE is equal to angle DAB plus angle DCB. Here angle DAB is on both the sides, so we can cancel it by cancellation law. So angle DAE is congruent to angle DCB hence. Okay. So that is what we had to prove. This is the converse of quadrilateral theorem, wherein in the textbook the proof is not given. They have given only the hint or to prove part, I think. Rest is supposed to be tried by the students. Anyways, I am here to help you out. So let's see the proof of it. If a pair of opposite angles of a quadrilateral is supplementary, the quadrilateral is cyclic. So this is converse of the theorem that we learned just now. So given part is that angle DCB plus angle DAB is 180 degrees. That means angle DCB and angle DAB's sum is 180 degrees. To prove that quadrilateral ABCD is cyclic, that means all the vertices lie on the circle. Suppose we are using indirect proof. What we will suppose is that angle ABCD is not cyclic. We will suppose the contrary of what we have to prove, and then we will arrive at some contradiction and tell that our supposition was wrong and hence ABCD has to be cyclic. Okay, so if it is not cyclic, then suppose it is not cyclic, suppose A is not touching the A is the vertex which is not touching the circle, then we can extend the side and construct quadrilateral EBCD. Now as in the diagram, if you see EBCD, such that it is cyclic and EAD are collinear points. Now angle DCB, that is this particular angle C, plus angle E is equal to 180 degree, since they are opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral. So bicyclic quadrilateral theorem. Okay, now it is already given that angle DCB plus angle DE is 180 degrees. Okay, that means if you compare these two equations, then we will arrive at the conclusion that the angle DEB and angle DAB, both the angles are congruent, or they are of equal measure. Now this means if it is of equal measure, that is angle DAB and angle DEB are of equal measure, this means the exterior angle DAB, now this angle DAB is exterior angle for this small triangle ABE. If you consider this small triangle ABE, particular angle is exterior, and exterior angle theorem says that it is sum of angle E plus angle B. Now here we got that this angle E and angle BAD are congruent. Now an exterior angle's measure cannot be equal to one of its remote interior angles. It is actually adding both the remote will get exterior angle. Okay, so if you are telling that this angle and this angle are congruent, then the particular angle B should be of 0 degrees, which is not possible. So therefore the supposition is wrong, and hence quadrilateral ABCD is cyclic. Or other way around, if you are getting B to be 0, this BA and BE coincide. They are not different lines. So A also touches the circle. Okay, either ways. Okay, so that's all for the video. In the next video, we will discuss a very important property or theorem regarding concyclic points, which the proof is not given in the textbook, but I will discuss the proof with you. So stay tuned, guys, and if you can also follow us on Instagram and post your queries or write your doubts in the comment section below. We will respond to you as soon as possible. Thank you.